For 3 full days, a soldier lay in the exact same position. No stretching, no sitting up, no shifting his weight, just stillness. Not because he wanted to, but because if he moved, even slightly, he could be seen and killed. This is the reality behind one of the most extreme roles in modern warfare, the sniper. Understanding the role. When people think of soldiers, they often imagine movement, advancing, reacting, engaging. Snipers operate differently. Their role is not speed, it's patience. They are trained to observe, wait, and act only when the moment is right. Sometimes that moment comes quickly. Other times it doesn't come at all, and that's where the real challenge begins. Because unlike most combat roles, a sniper's success often depends on how long they can do absolutely nothing. The mission setup. In this case, the assignment was straightforward. Move into position, remain hidden, observe a specific area, and wait for a high-value target to appear. There were no guarantees about timing. The target could show up in minutes, or not for days. Still, once the sniper was in position, leaving wasn't an option, because returning later would mean starting over, with new risks, new exposure, and no certainty of success. So he stayed. The first hours. At first, holding position is manageable. The body is still responsive. Muscles are relaxed. The mind is focused. Every sound is analyzed. Every movement in the distance is evaluated. Time passes normally, but slowly discomfort begins. Pressure builds in the joints. The ground starts to feel harder. Small irritations, an itch, a muscle twitch become noticeable. And yet none of them can be addressed, because even a small adjustment might reveal position. The first night. As daylight fades, conditions change, temperature drops, visibility shifts, the environment becomes quieter but also more unpredictable. The sniper must remain alert even as fatigue begins to build. Sleep is not an option in the usual sense. At best, there may be brief moments of micro-rest, seconds at a time, but never enough to fully recover. And still, movement is restricted. The position must be maintained. The second day. By the second day, the physical strain becomes more serious. Circulation slows in areas under constant pressure. Limbs begin to feel numb. Muscles stiffen. Pain is no longer occasional. It becomes constant. But physical discomfort is only part of the challenge. The mental strain increases as well. Doubt starts to appear. Questions begin to form. Is the target still coming? Is this position still valid? How much longer can this continue? These thoughts are natural, but they can be dangerous. Because once focus breaks, mistakes follow. Training for stillness. This is exactly what sniper training prepares for. It's not just about accuracy or weapon handling, it's about control. Snipers are trained to regulate breathing, minimize movement, and remain calm under extreme conditions. They practice staying motionless for long periods. They learn to ignore discomfort. They condition their minds to stay focused even when nothing is happening. Because in this role, inactivity is not downtime. It's the mission itself. Environmental challenges. Remaining still in the field isn't just physically demanding. It's a test of endurance against forces beyond control. Weather shifts without warning. Sudden rain soaks clothing and equipment, heat drains energy and causes dehydration, while cold stiffens muscles and reduces mobility. Insects crawl across exposed skin, adding irritation to the strain. Yet none of these discomforts can be answered with movement. Every instinct to react must be suppressed, because even the smallest motion increases risk. Survival here means silence, patience, and absolute stillness. The third day. By the third day, the situation reaches an entirely different level. The body is drained, energy reserves nearly gone, and hydration dangerously limited. Muscles are no longer simply uncomfortable, they ache, strain, and begin to fail, refusing to respond with precision. Even the smallest actions, like adjusting a grip or holding posture, demand immense effort. At this stage, the mission shifts from waiting to sheer endurance, a battle against the body itself. Yet despite exhaustion, pain, and the creeping weight of time, the sniper remains locked in position, unwavering, because movement is not an option. The moment arrives. Eventually, after hours and days of waiting, something changes. Movement appears in the distance. Not random movement, deliberate, recognizable. The target. This is the moment everything has been leading toward, but it's also the moment where control matters most. Because after days of stillness, the body doesn't respond instantly. Muscles are stiff, breathing is uneven, heart rate begins to increase, and all of that must be managed. quickly and precisely. The shot. The sniper prepares, breathing is slowed, focus narrows, external distractions disappear, the environment fades into the background. There is only the target. And the process. Position, alignment, control. Then the trigger is pulled. One shot, carefully timed, carefully executed. What happens next? Contrary to what many assume, the mission doesn't end with the shot. It often becomes even more dangerous. The instant the rifle fires, the sniper's position is compromised. The crack of the weapon echoes across the terrain, sound waves carrying far beyond the target zone. Attention shifts immediately, and the risk of detection rises with every passing second. What was once a game of patience and stillness transforms into a test of precision under pressure. Now the priority changes, from absolute immobility to carefully calculated movement. Every action, whether it's withdrawing, relocating, or blending back into cover, must be deliberate, controlled, and silent. Survival depends not only on hitting the target, but on escaping unseen once the shot has been taken. The exit. Leaving a position after such a long period of stillness is not easy. The body doesn't respond normally. Muscles are stiff. Coordination is reduced, but movement must still be precise. Fast movement increases noise. Noise increases risk. So even during withdrawal, discipline remains critical. Every step must be planned. Every movement must be intentional. The reality behind the role. Snipers are often portrayed as action-focused specialists, but in reality, their role is defined by patience more than anything else. The majority of their time is spent waiting, observing, remaining unnoticed, and enduring conditions that most people would find extremely difficult. The shot itself is only a small part of the mission. What matters more is everything that happens before it. The psychological factor. Perhaps the most challenging part of all is mental endurance. Remaining focused for extended periods without stimulation is difficult. There are no constant updates, no continuous action, just time. And thoughts. The ability to stay calm, disciplined, and patient under those conditions is what separates trained snipers from others. In modern operations, precision is often more valuable than force. A single well-executed action can achieve what larger efforts cannot. That's why roles like this exist. Not because they are dramatic, but because they are effective. The idea of staying completely still for 3 days may sound extreme, and it is. But it highlights something important. Not all strength is visible. Sometimes it's not about movement or action, it's about control. The ability to wait, to endure, to remain focused when nothing seems to be happening. Because in certain situations, that's what makes the difference. If you found this perspective interesting and want more real stories like this, make sure to like and subscribe. Because sometimes the most intense moments aren't about what happens, but how long you can wait for it.